Good morning, everyone. It's Penelope. And I hadn't planned on making a video today, but I've been watching a channel that has made me want to give you information and to share something about women and skills and being self reliant and keeping yourself safe, stepping out of your comfort zone to ensure that you have the skills needed to do those things. Um, the channel is Appalachian Homesteading with Patera. And I will put that down in the comments section with a little shout out to her because she is an amazing woman. And I think that she's not only amazing in her skills and her homesteading abilities, but even just to listen to her speak about life things. Very, very wonderful gal from Tennessee. Okay, she's in Appalachian Mountains, Tennessee. Hi, Patera. I hope you watch this. But anyhow, she made me think about my granny. As a prepper and as a future homesteader success, I hope. Um, I have skill. I have know-how. My grandfather up here in Indiana, my dad's dad, taught me how to hunt, taught me how to skin out and clean the animals that we hunted either for fur or for food or for both. He taught me the ways of the woods. He taught me about ginseng and golden root or golden seal, however you want to call it, and the herbs, the natural herbs in our wood setting. He taught me those skills. He taught me how to split wood. As a matter of fact, I split a lot of wood. If I would get in trouble, I would split twice as much wood. Or if I just wanted to split wood, he was like, here's your axe, here's your maul, go for it. Sledgehammer. Um, he showed me how to put fence posts in, how to use a spud bar and a post hole digger, how to put that all in. So I do have skills that I learned very young. My first coon hunt was at 3 years old. I remember that hunt because I remember when the dogs treed. I had my own little light and I shined it up there. It's like, oh, Papaw, they have treed an owl. Well, it was a possum because we didn't use his coon hounds per se for that. We just took the cur dogs out, just up around 100 yards or whatever from the house. 3 years old, you're not going to take a kid like you did later on, way deep in the woods for hours and hours and hours with the coon hounds. He just wanted to get out and get me out in the woods at night. Anyway, it wasn't a hoot owl, it was a possum. So anyway, I grew up knowing how to hunt, and I grew up knowing the woods, and I grew up knowing farm skills. I think I started driving the tractor when I was about 5, and I can remember when I first found reverse, we about lost the mailboxes. He would always sit on the wheel well of the tractor and let me drive. I just drive wherever we were going, up hills, down hills, drove my grandma nuts. So I do have skills that I learned from my grandpa. I don't like putting fence posts in, but I can. I can remember that. Oh my God, 221 fence posts up a hillside, across the top, and down the other side. That was my punishment as a teenager for um, actually just defending myself in a school fight when I got suspended. Took me 3 days. Yep, but that's okay. I knew how to do it, and I still know how to do it. But anyway, I want to get back to my granny. My granny, down on Cow Creek, where my mommy come from, she come from Kentucky, in a holler called Cow Creek. Now, Granny had no running water. They had an outhouse, and she did everything homemade from scratch and being self-reliant. And I believe now, I realize that she's Wonder Woman. She was a pioneer woman when you didn't have to be a pioneer. She ran the farm. She ran the greenhouse. They had a greenhouse, and I believe that was their financial stability. I'm pretty sure. I don't really know for sure, but people came from states around to buy their stuff out of their greenhouse. I know they grew tobacco and crops of tobacco they would hang. I had to work the tobacco. I did not like doing tobacco. I didn't like stripping it, didn't like hanging it, didn't like anything about tobacco or backer, however you want to call it. You will hear me slipping in and out of an accent that I have lost years ago because it's in there. So you will hear an accent come out sometimes when I'm talking. But anyway, tobacco was another big source of their income. But my granny would get up early in the morning, chunk coal into the coal stove, go in and start breakfast, draw 2 big buckets of water out of the well, bring them in the house, start breakfast, get everybody fed, put everything on the table with a towel covering it so that way if anyone got up late or got hungry before dinner, which is what we call lunch up here, there was something to eat, always sitting on the table. So she would go out, and if it happened to be plowing time to get the fields ready to be planted, she would go down and get the horse, harness her up, grab the plow, and my granny would plow for hours, hours and hours and hours, until it was time to come in and cook dinner. Now, when it was plowing time, dinner might be sandwiches or, I don't know, she would make something for dinner, which is lunch. And there was always something to eat. So you would eat leftovers from breakfast, and then she would make maybe some hamburgers, or maybe there was some lunch meat or something that she had set aside. And that was during plow time because, you're plowing, you still feed your family. And so she'd come out of the field, she'd make something for dinner, lunch, and then she'd go back to the field, continue plowing. She would do her other chores, feeding the animals, checking on other things that need to be done, go in the greenhouse, working there for a little while, put the horse away, and then go in and fix supper. And supper was always magnificent. That's when you would have your green beans or corn or whatever. She would fry fish, my God. Now, my poppy would go and fish a lot. So he brought in fish. So she maybe would make a big batch of fried fish, which was absolutely the best fish ever. So my granny, the 2 things that I absolutely remember and make my taste buds water are her biscuits and her fried fish. I am not a fish eater, but let me tell you how I would chow down on her fish. So anyway, she'd make a big supper for us all. And after supper, she'd clean up everything, and she would either start on her sewing or, whatever projects she had going on, maybe getting stuff off the front porch that she'd been drying, or maybe start drying some fruits or whatever. She was a pioneer and Wonder Woman to me. And I think that all women need to learn skills to be self-reliant, to get out of your comfort zone sometimes. Make sure you're protected. And sometimes people talk about, oh, gun ownership. Well, you know what? It's not a bad idea to learn how to shoot. It's not a bad idea to have a nice little gun that you can utilize and practice with, because it might come in handy. You never know. But some of the skills that I think that are absolutely phenomenal that, well, men or women should be able to do, but women nowadays, sometimes their skill is putting on some eyeliner or making sure their lipstick matches their blush or whatever. But can you dry, and can you preserve food for your family in a time, when you may need it? My granny canned fish that my poppy caught. So in the middle of the wintertime, she'd make fish cakes, like we have salmon patties or tuna cakes. She would use the fish that she canned that my poppy caught and would make fish cakes. She had two pillowcases. One was filled with dried apples, and one was filled with dried beans, and they hung like in the dining area. And I can remember saying, "Little Penny, would you like some fried apples?" And I'd be like, "Well, yeah, heck yeah." She'd reach her hand down in there, grab a handful of them dried apples that she dried on her own, put them in a skillet, cook them up, and oh my God, they were so good with her biscuits. Fried apples. So, there's some skills that we need to learn as women. Can you chop some wood? Can you start a fire? Do you know how to cook without your stove? It's important, ladies. It's important to learn things that are outside of our comfort zone because you never know when you need it, you know. But my granny, my God, I can't imagine harnessing up a horse with an old plow and plowing all day long in the fields. I can't imagine that. I've watched her dig taters out of a 3-acre tater garden, and I had to help her, but I was a kid, All right, we'll do that. Hours. I mean, just the most amazing woman. That's a pioneer woman. That is true homesteading. I wish I could talk to her right now because I would tell her that I now admire her more than I ever have in my entire life. My dad's dad, I admired. He was my best buddy. I spent a lot of time with him. Anytime I was out of school, he would come pick me up, and I was in the woods with him. I was in the barn with him. I was helping him in his gardens, coon hunting, fox hunting, squirrel hunting. But my granny, my mama's mom, what a woman. I didn't go down there a whole lot. Now, my mom would drop me off down there when they would be going on vacation to Florida, and I would spend time with them. And I think that my granny knew that I wasn't like the other granddaughters that she had because I would get up with her in the morning. I would do whatever she asked me to do. I would grab a hoe. I would grab a tater fork. I would grab a hose in the garden. I would work in the greenhouse. I would do whatever she asked me to do, and I never had a problem with it. The other two, we don't want to. Not little Penny. Little Penny was right on her heels. Now, I did steal her cigarettes later on. I think she knew. I miss my granny, and I miss my grandpa, my papaw. And Patera, you really put these thoughts in my mind to come out and talk about this today. I wasn't going to do a video, but I've been watching you. And ladies, you need to get some skills other than putting your eyeliner on. I'm just telling you. Y'all have a great day. Bye.